Okay, this is just a quick, tedious little video. Big conversation between me, Andrew Wilson, and I, Hypocrite, navigating the terms of the debate. At the end, he said for me that I was running, and to remember that when I read this convo to my audience. I said, okay, I'll read it to my audience. I'll see what they think. If this doesn't interest you, it's tedious, but I just like the record, especially when dealing with liars. So I, Hypocrite, I've done his show. I like that guy. But he said, I will enforce the rules like a robot Nazi. Owen starts with 10 minutes. Andrew gets 10 minutes. Then Owen gets 5 minutes. Then Andrew gets 5. Then blood sports. Sound good? Andrew says, no, 20 minutes. Do you mind if I skip ahead with stuff? Or is that are people going to go, oh, you misrepresented? I'll just read all of it. 20 minutes opening from both, 20-minute rebuttals from each. He opens, I rebuttal, then I open, and he does the same. 1 hour of 5-minute back and forth, 1 hour cross-examination, yes or no questions. 1 hour blood sports, that's the format I agree to. He says, totally fine. So that's 30 minutes cross-examination from each, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I am skipping ahead at times. Okay, then he writes, K, we just need to get Retard Bear here to do this, unless he wants to go on Sarah's channel with the same rules, doesn't matter to me. He wrote, cool, no hard feelings. Owen, to address your question about videos and such, hosted through StreamYard, blah, blah. I wrote, what's the topic? This sounds great. Just got to work out details and day. I'll do 2 hours total. Hypocrite says, well, you get to launch the opening salvo. If Andrew wants to know the topic in advance, we'll have to work it out. I wrote, 4 hours seems methy. That's what I said. If a rule is loaded, questions, etc., we definitely need a topic. Hypocrite says, does feel a lot to me too. Is 2 hours good with you? Propositions you want to do. I wrote, it's so funny how the one thing Andrew doesn't care about is the topic. So let's lock in a topic and a day and let's rock and roll. Is it unfair to judge a man based on the fact he can't open a jar, rape, the Trinity? Andrew says, no, 4 hours. You don't get to escape. You are trapped in here with me now. 4 hours, Owen. We have a lot to cover. You expected many, many more hours of my time invested to travel to Vegas for some crazy shit. You can do a 4-hour debate. My terms aren't negotiable and they're fair. Post them and see for yourself. And I, Hypocrite, wrote, why would it be rape? I wrote, Andrew has some crazy rape opinions. 2 hours is plenty. 4 hours is stupid. It's about the audience, Andrew. No one that is not on meth wants to watch 4 hours. My listeners have jobs and children. And let's iron out the topic so Andrew can't just keep jumping around every time he looks stupid. And then Andrew says, rape? Who gives a shit about what you think my views on rape are? The debate is an in-depth, comprehensive expose based on the fact that Owen Benjamin claims my wife is responsible for our son's death and many of his slanderous and provable lies, which he got from a known con artist. In turn, I will prove with evidence that Owen not only is lying, but is also a long history of lying, that he was involved and still is involved in provable ongoing fraud. Further, I will demonstrate he started this beef for clout and gove an exact timeline with significant evidence. The truth is what you want, right, Owen? You made these horrific accusations, and now you need to prove them, and so do I. For me to present the fullness of my case, I need time to do so uninterrupted. I wrote, I think parents are responsible for toddlers doesn't take 4 hours. He wrote, well, however long it takes you to present your case is not relevant to me. I wrote, if I'm wrong, I'll correct the record. But according to the news story, a 10-year-old went joyriding with a 14-year-old. Okay. Now, what are my cons and frauds? Campground, question mark? He says, I'm not here to litigate it. You made the claim. Now you get to prove it. I get to do the same. We're here to discuss the terms of the debate, not litigate the debate itself. I wrote, prove what? That I think parents are responsible for kids? If you claim I'm a con artist, ask me any question now and I'll send you information to clear up any misconceptions. If you don't want that and want to misrepresent it for damage, that's getting pretty close to the legal definition of defamation. So is there anything you'd like to know about Bertaria? He wrote, prove that my wife was responsible for our son's death and myself, as you claimed. Yes, with evidence. Who cares what you think? I wrote, because if you state things that are false after I've offered to explain anything you want to know, that's bad faith. And he wrote, not here to debate, here to set the terms. That's it. I, Hypocrite, that I'm now starting to feel bad for. He said, if I may, gentlemen, this sounds like we don't really need a topic. You guys want to air out and hash out your grievances? We can just call it Owen versus Andrew and leave it at that. I wrote, so you want to do 4 hours about topics like I'm a con man, but you won't say your claims and you don't want me to clarify anything. I'm not doing 4 hours and this isn't a topic. He wrote, I just gave the topic. He can add more if he wants to his end. For my end, it will take 4 hours to give a full accounting in sections with cross-examination. And I wrote, sounds boring. He wrote, it was your call out. I said, an event that I know about from a news report that you won't clarify and claims you have about me that you're keeping secret. I run a farm and no one wants to listen for 4 hours. You're already out because you won't do it in person. He wrote, the terms are fair. With equal time, you can bring up whatever you want as a personal attack against me in the debate. Lord knows it's all you will do. I will stick to the facts. Don't care what you present. I never agreed to that, nor was that ever reasonable. I wrote, what facts? You won't say your claim. He wrote, my claim is that you have a long and detailed, storied, and provable history of lying and fraud and are currently still conducting fraud. I wrote, I never agreed to 4 hours or a debate without a topic. He wrote, what are we missing here? I just gave you a topic and told you you can bring up whatever personal attacks you think you need to. That's your business. Let me make sure this is recording because this can get so tedious. I apologize, but this is a lot better than 4 hours. I wrote, so you're going to accuse me of a crime and not clarify. He wrote, you will have tons of time to respond. Look at the post format, knucklehead. I wrote, have you spoken to Beep privately about any of these topics? If so, I can do the debate with you, but after we can depose you about an ongoing lawsuit. He wrote, no. Now do we have an accord? Option 2, you can apologize publicly and go away, and I will do the same. Those are our options here. I'm a graceful man. I wrote, it's why I want to know the topic. If it has anything to do with Beep claims, then you're a witness in a lawsuit that's went nowhere for 2 years and is about to have cross complaints. He wrote, I just gave you the topic. You can say no comment if you want. It's your time. I wrote, no, I'm not doing 4 hours about a topic you won't specify while a lawsuit is going on. He wrote, I just specified the topic. Ha ha ha. He laughed out loud. I wrote, that I have committed fraud, but you won't specify what the fraud is. If it doesn't have to do with an ongoing lawsuit, that's fine. But if it does, I have to know because you may be a witness. He wrote, that isn't necessary. My burden is only to prove you are engaged in it and have in the past. That's for me to prove. I wrote, I'm cool with that, by the way. I just want to prepare properly. And it, question mark, what's it? He wrote, and then hypocrite says, it sounds like we have an impasse on the time factor. I don't think Andrew is going to budge on 4 hour requirement. Deal breaker for Owen because hashing out the topic might be pointless. And then Andrew